Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with a box of stuff commemorating 100 years of recordings by the Staatskapelle Dresden, which is technically called the Sächsische Staatskapelle Dresden. That is the Orchestra of Saxony, which they claim has existed for 475 years. Puffery! Pure puffery. Go back 475 years and see what this orchestra looked like. It probably had 7 people playing snoodle flutes and trombones and sack things and ocarinas. And I mean, come on. No, the modern orchestra has only existed since the Paris Conservatory Orchestra in the late 1820s. And after that, the two most consistently performing, giving public concerts in a series type modern orchestras are the Vienna Philharmonic and the New York Philharmonic, both of which got going in 1842. So everything else came later. It really did. I mean, I know we hear about, the Leipzig Gewandhaus. No, the building may be 500 years old. The orchestra within, a little bit less so. We have to be sensible about these things. But of course, in Europe, where pedigree is everything, and the older the better, we hear these exorbitant claims for we've been around for 500 years. I'll never forget when I was in college at Stanford University in grad school. We used to listen to public radio, and there was a company called Peet's Coffees and Teas. Peets, I believe is the way it was spelled. And it was such a big deal back in the peninsula in California, where everything was built yesterday. Serving the peninsula, the ad went, serving the peninsula since 1975. And everyone thought, wow, that's old. That's a pedigree. Yes, it is. Well, it's the same thing here, right? Serving Saxony since 1453. I don't know, anyway, it's 475 years ago from some time. I don't know what their start date is. Anyway, this has got 10 CDs. Most of these are reissued. They're reissued from Profil's Staatskapelle Dresden edition, which has gone on for like a bazillion records, devoted to all kinds of artists and things. And so this is just a selection of mostly live recordings and broadcast recordings. And some of them are quite splendid. And I'm just going to tell you what's in it. Because if you're interested in this orchestra, then you're not going to care so much who's conducting, which is a good thing, because some of these conductors I can't stand. Oh, well, we'll get to those too. But really, they are, I think, in my humble opinion, the great German orchestra. I know followers of the Berlin Philharmonic will have a conniption about that, but I don't care. I think they have always had superior tonal, timbral, balance, clarity, wonderful, wonderful qualities. They are more sonically, timbrally, they are more closely related to the great Central European orchestras like the Czech Philharmonic, where you have sort of wiry, clean-sounding violins, not the carillon gloopitude of, oleaginous, smearing thickness in the violin section. No, they're lean and muscular and rhythmic, and they have wonderful woodwinds and tangy brass that are well differentiated in timbre, the trumpets from the trombones, from the horns, and percussion, well, it's German. I mean, it got better as the 20th century went on. Often they were pushing it. So anyway, let's see what we have here. We have 10 CDs featuring, we have Fritz Busch doing Strauss's Minuet in G major, whatever that is. Verdi, spelled Vedrdi. Vedrdi, the overture to Die Macht des Schicksals, also known as La Forza del Destino. Yeah, and Wagner, the overture to Tannhäuser. So that's Fritz Busch. Then you've got Richard Strauss as guest conductor doing his own Don Quixote, recorded in London, actually, on tour in London, in really lousy sound. I mean, this is from 1923 to 1945. So sonically, these things are all over the place, and they're live broadcasts for the most part, so they're also all over the place. Then we've got Karl Böhm doing Lortzing, the Holzschuh dance, the wooden clog dance, from Czar und Zimmermann, some Brahms Hungarian dances, and the Bizet prelude to Carmen. Then we have Karl Elmendorf, Auber's overture to Fra Diavolo, and Wagner's Magic Fire music from Die Walküre. Yes. So that's all on disc 1. These are very well-filled discs. Disc 2 features music or performances from 1948 to 1952, because this starts in 1923. It's 100 years of recordings. Because you can't have 475 years of recordings, can you? No, you can't. All right, Joseph Keilberth, the Beethoven Overture to Fidelio, and Wagner's Prelude to Meistersinger, and Strauss's Dance of the Siebenschleier, the Seven Veils from Salome. Wagner, let's see, Kempe, Rudolf Kempe, yeah, and it's Wagner. The Prelude to Lohengrin, and the Prelude and Liebestod from Tristan und Isolde. And then finally, Joseph Strauss, well, this is all Rudolf Kempe, doing Schwerenklänge Walzer. Yeah, some waltzy things. Okay, then next is 1953 to 1964. Franz Konvichny doing Strauss's Till Eulenspiegel, a rather famous, Konvichny was sort of a famous guy. And then Ottmar Sweetener, Mozart's G minor symphony and the overture from Die Entführung aus dem Serail. Sweetener was very, very good at this music. I mean, he's recorded it. These are studio recordings, actually, some of these, taken from the Berlin Classics or Eterna catalog, and they're very, very good and beautifully recorded. So that's all nice. And the Smetana Overture and choral scenes from The Bartered Bride, that's all with Sweetener. 1964 to 1968, Kurt Zanderling, Tchaikovsky, Romeo and Juliet, and Borodin in the Steppes of Central Asia, and the Second Symphony. Wonderful Borodin, too. That was also on Eterna. I have it on Berlin Classics separately. Really good stuff. Wonderful performances. And then a little bit of Martin Tarnowski. Janicek's Moravian Dances, which nobody plays, and that's really charming to have those. They're fun. And Dvorak's Festival March. Da 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 bum ba dum. I love that piece. I love it particularly because there's no way you could sort of fit it into march rhythm, even though it's a march. It's really nifty. Okay, 1975 to 1985. Next clump is Herbert Blomstedt, Bruckner 4, live recording of that, and Naumann's Te Deum. Naumann was a classical composer, contemporary of Haydn. It's really a rarity and something lovely to hear. Then 1985 to 2001, Hans Vonk. Weber's Scenes from Oberon, Euryanthe, and Preziosa, and the Jubel Overture, and stuff like that. And then Sinopoli doing Brahms 2. It's a good Brahms 2, by the way. It sounds lovely. I've always had a sort of a thing about Hans Vonk. I mean, didn't he take over the St. Louis Symphony? I think he did. He was there for a few years. And I just remember him saying, I think it was him. And if it's not him, then I've got the wrong guy. But I think it was him. And he was saying, well, we're going to be doing much more Brahms and Germanic repertoire, because that's all Hans Vonk really did. And we're going to be doing that. But of course, he said, I have no affinity whatsoever for Dvorak. Well, that immediately made him persona non grata as far as I was concerned, But he did some very nice things, and, these are sort of unimportant, so who cares? Okay, next, let's see, 2002 to 2004, we have Bernard Haitink, Bartók's Dance Suite, Strauss's Also sprach Zarathustra, and Schumann's Manfred Overture. The Zarathustra, whatever you want to call it. Oh, it's a snooze. It's really sluggish. I don't know what happened to him, but this was not Haitink in his best mode there. Bartók's okay. Schumann Manfred Overture is okay. And from 2007 to 2012, we have Fabio Luisi doing Strauss's Alpine Symphony. I mean, hearing the Staatskapelle Dresden and Strauss is always fabulous. That's why that fabulous 9-disc set with Rudolf Kempe on Warner has all of the Strauss tone poems and things with the Staatskapelle Dresden, and it's been a reference recording ever since the dawn of time. But if you want to hear another Alpine Symphony with them, here you go. And let's see, CD9 is Byung-Won Chung, Ravel, Daphnis, and Chloe. And the Elgar First Symphony with Colin Davis. Now, you can see if you had previous sets, here's another one. Here's the Colin Davis box with the Staatskapelle Dresden. The Elgar one is already there. So some of these things, pop up over and over again. Let me just stick this back where I had it. I took it out just for the purpose of making that particular point. And then the last disc, Christian Thielemann. Oh, God. Creak. There goes my chair. My chair creaks whenever I think about Thielemann. There you go. Maybe you can see the top of my bald head now. He's doing Wagner, Overture to the Flying Dutchman, and Rienzi, and excerpts from Götterdämmerung and Liebesmahl der Apostel. Ugh. Fortunately, it's only 2 short movements. Thielemann, he's okay in Wagner. He's no Kempe. Let's put it that way. Not in the slightest. And Kempe is here doing, Lohengrin and Tristan and Isolde. So, although they're different works, you can compare the style. One, the utmost clarity, lucidity, rhythm, and exquisite balance and timbral sensibility. The other, Chazarai. Anyway, it's okay. It's all right. So here you go. 10 CDs giving you a retrospective of 100 years of what I consider to be Germany's greatest orchestra, the Staatskapelle Dresden, and it's on Profil. And it's worth hearing if you don't have this stuff some other way. And if you're a collector and you're curious about, orchestras as ensembles rather than conductors. It's a fun way to sort of give yourself a survey. And that's how I feel about it. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.